What's going on, YouTube? This is the SG1 Sports SEC Football Channel, and we bring you our top 10 players for the LSU Tigers. There is a lot of talent on this roster, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You could probably take 10 of their 11 starters on defense, and you would have 10 players better than most teams have on their entire roster. That's how good this defense is going to be, in my opinion. Maybe the best defense in the SEC. Maybe even the best defense in the country. But let's get it started here, and we're going to kick it off with a freshman at number 10. That is Stingley Jr. He was the number one cornerback recruit in the nation. We have seen this DBU here at LSU. They continue that. Greedy Williams is gone, so they just go out and get the best cornerback recruit in the country. He's got some big shoes to fill there. I do think that he will start as a true freshman. He is enrolled early, so I think that'll help him out. And again, he was the most talented cornerback in the country according to 24/7 Sports. And so I think he will be a difference maker for this defense, and we have him at number 10. And we're going to stick with the defense for number 9, and we're going to stay at the defensive back position. How about at safety, Jacoby Stevens? Last season, 35 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, had an interception, had 5 passes broken up. So just a very solid player here at the safety position. I think his production will go up a little bit in 2019 with John Battle gone. So I expect him to really have a big impact in the secondary, and I expect him to have a big year. I have him at number 9 on our top 10 players list. We're going to move on now to number 8, our first player on offense, and that is Joe Burrow. Not the most talented quarterback in the country, but someone that I would love to play for. Just a really gutsy kid. I really enjoyed watching him play last season. He threw for almost 3,000 yards. That's pretty solid for an LSU quarterback. Ran for 399 yards. Couldn't get to that 400-yard mark. Just needed one more yard. He had 23 total touchdowns on the season. Just a great leader. Again, can't say enough about his toughness. Saw it all last year. He would take a huge hit, and it's like he would just play better after that. And again, I think he's going to be a big factor for them. And I think his go-to receiver will be Justin Jefferson in 2019. Really probably their leading receiver last year. Had 875 yards, 16.2 yards per reception, 6 touchdowns. I think he goes over 1,000 yards in 2019. I think they throw it a little bit more than they did last season with Joe Burrow back and all the talent they have at receiver. They have a lot of really talented receivers. The production maybe wasn't there last year as much as it could be, but the talent is there. And again, I think they'll throw it more, but I still think they will lean on the run game, and that's why I have Emery Jr at number 6. He was the number 2 running back recruit in the country according to 24/7 Sports. And if you watched our offensive MVP prediction video over on the main channel, I did predict him to be their offensive MVP. I think he will take over that starting job, maybe not week 1, but pretty early in the season. He's just too talented. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a very solid running back, but I don't know if he's your guy to carry the load and get 20 carries a game. I think Emery might be just that, and I think he is their best offensive player, or going to be in 2019. The top 5 are all on defense. We kick it off with Michael Divinity Jr. Last season, 54 tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. He was a playmaker. Getting turnovers as well. He had an interception, had a forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, and I think he's going to be one of the leaders there at that linebacker position. Of course, Devin White is gone. He was just a stud for this defense, but they've got other linebackers that are ready to step up, and Divinity is actually not the only linebacker you're going to see here on this list. We move on to number 4. That is Rashard Lawrence. I think he is their best defensive lineman. Had 54 tackles last season, 10 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. He can stop the run. He's good at getting after the quarterback as well. Just a really solid player for them on that defensive line. I think as a veteran, he might be one of those leaders that is able to help this defense out from that standpoint as well. Maybe could have gone to the NFL even last year. I think there was some talk of that, but he's back, and I think he anchors a very solid defensive line. And there are really no weaknesses on this LSU defense. Moving on to number 3, we are back in the secondary. As good as Stingley, the freshman, might be, I think Kristian Fulton is actually going to be their number 1 cornerback in 2019. I don't think the stats tell the whole story. He had 25 tackles, an interception, but 9 passes defended, 9 pass breakups. That's actually a really high number. I've been going through a lot of players, a lot of stats, and doing these lists and doing the rosters that I do, and it's pretty rare to see someone break up that many passes. That's actually pretty impressive, and I think he's going to be another one of those leaders in the secondary. But we go back to the linebacker position for our number 2 player, and that is Jacob Phillips. Last season, 87 tackles. He was number 2 on the team in tackles behind Devin White. He had 5.5 tackles for loss, an interception, had 1 sack. Just a very solid player for them. And I think he's going to be their number 1 linebacker with White gone. Again, just a tackling machine and a very, very efficient player. We've got him at number 2. And number 1 for me, I just can't get over this player. I think he might be one of the top 10 players in the country, and that is Grant Delpit. He was just a stat stuffer last season. 74 tackles. That was 3rd on the team. 9.5 tackles for loss. And again, this is coming from the safety position. 5 sacks. He actually led this team in sacks, again, out of the safety position. That is just incredible. Again, we talked about just a second ago, 9 pass breakups. He had 9 as well, and again, out of the safety position. Normally you see the cornerbacks get the most of those, and then just the number that blows you away. It was 5 interceptions. His instincts are just unreal. 5 interceptions in a single season coming from the safety position. That is just incredible, and I think he is the best player on this LSU team, and potentially maybe the best player in the SEC. I think he has that type of potential. You guys can let me know what you think about these LSU players in this list down in the comments below. How would you change them? Who would you move up or down? Maybe who would you add to the list that I left off? Feel free to let me know. I always like to hear your opinions, especially from the LSU fans, the guys that are the people that know this roster better than anyone else. That's the diehard LSU fans. So let me know how I did. Again, down in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports SEC Football Channel.